Good morning from Nairobi. Today is the single biggest day at the Nairobi Securities Exchange. Safaricom released their full year earnings this morning at the Michael Joseph Center, and they constitute about 47% of the total market cap of the Nairobi Securities Exchange, and that's why they're so central to that release. Let me go through some of the data points and then we'll break down by silo. Full year service revenue rose 7% to 240.3 billion. Voice revenue up 0.3%, still the biggest single revenue line item, 95.94 billion. And that's all about the demographic dividend. You saw that they acquired more than 2 million customers year on year, and that keeps, the demographic dividend is expressed most accurately in the voice revenue number for Safaricom. mpesa revenue hit the ball out of the park, up 19.2%. to 74.99 billion. SMS revenue, a lot of that is to do with gambling. SMS revenue 17.5 billion, down 1.3%. Mobile data revenue up 6.4% at 38.69 billion. But they've driven consumption, they've lowered prices. It's absolutely the right trade to do. So full year total revenue 250.96 billion, up 7.1%. Full year EBITDA up 10.7%. EBIT up 13.1% at 89.61 billion. Earnings per share rose 14.7% to 1 shilling and 58 cents. And they're paying a full year dividend of 1 shilling and 25 cents plus a special dividend of 62 cents. So the payout there is 187, which is remarkably good. So looking through the data points, voice was up 0.3%, still posting growth. That's all about that demographic dividend. mpesa revenue grew 19.2%. This is the real standout. This is where people have been upgrading their earnings curve, and this is what's really driving growth at the moment. Mobile data revenue up 6.4%, but as I said, that was about shoving consumption at lower price points. 30-day active mpesa customers increased 10.2%. Mobile data customers increased 6.6%. Bob was bullish and was asked an interesting question about Huawei, and said that his business decisions will not be driven by Trump's foreign policy. Of course, M-Pesa has done all kinds of innovations, AliExpress, Western Union. We've spoken about this many times before. M-Pesa revenue up 19.2% for the year. Added 2.1 million active M-Pesa customers, now accounts for 31.2% of service revenue. They are pleased with the strong results. Financial outlook for 2020 reflects the adoption of IFRS 15 and 16 accounting standards. The link for the presentation is there. Have a read, it's well worth it. Bob, in a rather cryptic and typically Colin Moore type comments, said not bad financial performance with 7% top line growth and 14.7% increase in net profits. The dividend payout is not too shabby either. So that's a proposed special dividend of 62 cents, service revenue up 7%, EBIT 13.1%, EPS 14.7%, free cash flow up 13.9%. Year-on-year customer add was a 58% increase compared to the previous year. Bob described Felisa, the world's first contextual mobile money overdraft facility. But really, it was a story about M-Pesa. Accounts for 31.2% of service revenue, up 8 points from just 3 years ago. Revenue growth driven by M-Pesa, growing at 19.2%, and this is the point, accounting for 75% of the growth for the year. I take you back to Bill Gates. By making it easier to send and receive money, mpesa is transforming the daily lives of people in Kenya. In November, at the half-year results, I spoke about the revenue surge, and I said it looks like it's on the cusp of a hockey stick-like breakout. And I said then, and that was in November, mpesa ecosystem has been tweaked with good effect. They've made the mpesa garden richer, and have increased retention and circulation in the ecosystem. This is a very big deal, I said. So 1 shilling 25 cents final, 62 cents special, and then going to that final point, our policy is not going to be driven by Donald Trump, Bob Collymore said about Huawei. The dividend and special dividend will keep this share sweet. mpesa is a standout. The continued tilt to lower prices in order to juice data consumption bodes well for the future. They've used that supernormal performance out of mpesa to kind of subsidize, well, not really, the mobile data, and you should see a big spike next year in that number, I suspect. So overall, fantastic results as always. It's been a miraculous story. Mr. Collymore has presided over probably a 500% and now more, 550% total return over his tenure, and that puts him in the top 1 percentile, I would have thought, in the world. So really big congratulations. The outstanding issues at the moment are the succession, and they seem to have given themselves 6 weeks of breathing room to think about that. Thank you, much appreciated.